Good afternoon. If I can have your attention, I have a couple of announcements. All right. Anyone notice anything different? Aha. Okay, you did notice. So new tables are in, all set up, hoping that they will be more accessible and convenient for folks, more comfortable. So hopefully, let me know how you feel about that. But I think it's a good change for us. We have this wonderful big table too that Sandra and Richard are at too. So a little bit different as well. So all right. So today we welcome Chief Montminy. Thank you so much. Another Lunch and Learn. Our Lunch and Learn person that was going to present today from Pout Pond unfortunately cannot be here, but the chief has some great announcements that we want to update you folks on anyway. So we wanted to continue our Lunch and Learn. Oh, yes, if you please. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so because Pout Pond the presenter could not be here today, I just want to update you on a couple of things. So he says, first, I'm so sorry we couldn't be with you in person today, but Pout Pond has a lot of exciting things to share. The first thing is that they have 2 passes approved for the Uxbridge Senior Center. Each pass allows 6 people in Pout Pond. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let us know. We do have a trip to Pout Pond for lunch coming up. A couple of them coming up soon. So if you're interested, sign up for that. They had a fishing derby that had 92 kids participate in that recently. They have free community days where they have yard games, ice cream trucks, food, and live music. They also have movie nights at the pond, building sand castles, cardboard boat races. The Uxbridge Police Department actually took first place. Wow. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay. They have live music, and they have yoga on the weekends. Swimming lessons are actually coming up this year, too. So that's good that that's back. So lots of things happening at Pout Pond. Okay, Sally, you want to do announcements on activities?
Okay, so as far as our trip to the Woo Sox, we had a really good time. Yeah. It was excellent. They won. Decent. There was a lot of it. I mean, you guys could eat, you know. It turned out not to rain, so it was a little chilly. But last year it was 96. We can't win. I know. It's hot or cold. We're not sure. But it was definitely a good day. Tomorrow we are doing the sheriff's picnic. Guys, when they say picnic, they're confused, okay? It's a drive-through. We will not be getting off the bus. You will stay on the bus for however long it takes us to get through. It's a stop-and-go situation. But we will do that on Saturday. If you're coming, please be here by 10:15 at the latest. I will be taking off for those who are signed up.
Who's picking us up?
Oh, dude, you're not on the list.
I was supposed to be.
Well, we'll chat later. I got everything here.
Okay.
What else do we have? We have makeup, gnomes. We're going to be doing the gnomes. That was canceled in May. So I have the makeup paper. We're going to be doing that this month, June 8th. That's like 18 people.
Yeah, people already signed up for it.
Yeah, it was canceled, so everybody who's already on the list gets first dibs or whatever. But then we're gonna.
Shop was rescheduled next week.
Yes, and we're also doing a yard sale here. If anybody wants to do, there's a yard sale / craft fair. If anybody wants to do that, we have sign-ups for that as well.
got all that?
All right, so people know the Christmas tree shop was rescheduled. Christmas tree shop trip, Tuesday of next week. Oh, you're all set. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's do a moment of silence before lunch. All right, thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to another Lunch and Learn. My name is Marc Montminy. I'm Chief of Police here in Uxbridge, and I usually come out and try to have a lunch with you once a month, so today's the day. We had a guest speaker to talk to you today, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to come. He was coming to talk to you about Pout Pond, and so what we're going to try to do is postpone that to another day. But a couple of announcements. First off, they forgot to serve the tartar sauce. Now, I'm not a member here, but if I were you, I would fire all the staff, okay? So, yeah. So the other plan, when I found out the guest speaker from Pout Pond wasn't going to be here, my secondary plan was to have one of the new officers come in and introduce himself. And he has a connection to Pout Pond. So we were talking about, they held a cardboard boat race. Officer Miller won the cardboard boat race. He beat out 3 6-year-olds and 2 8-year-olds. And he was going to come today. Unfortunately, he may not be able to make it because he's still in court. So we might have strike 2. So the last thing I wanted to tell everybody, I'll do a couple of announcements. First off, last time I was here, I mentioned that my assistant, Jean, which a lot of you know, is retiring. Well, she's decided to work another year. So Jean is going to stick around for another year, which makes me very happy, makes her very sad. But yes, we're happy, and as long as we're happy. Jean is going to stick around for another year, and she's going to retire in July of next year. So that's good news. The other big news that's going on at the police department that I wanted to alert everybody to is the police department is the home of the 911 center for the town. So anyone on the highway, anyone within the town of Uxbridge who dials 911, that call goes to the Uxbridge Police Department, regardless of whether you need fire, police, or medical service. And that the room that we dispatch from has not been updated in 19 years. So if you take a look at the room, it looks very similar to the old NASA photos that you used to see with buttons everywhere and so on and so forth. And so we're upgrading our 911 center. And what we had to do was we had to move everything out temporarily to another facility. And then today, this very day, we're tearing everything out of the old room. So we're going to end up with 4 bare walls by the end of today. And then tomorrow, we're having somebody come in and paint the room. And then on Monday, we're having somebody put down carpet. And then all the new equipment goes in. So it's quite an event that's taken place at the police department this week. But don't fear, anyone who dials 911, it still gets through. It's just that we're working out of boxes and desks that normally aren't designed for that. And all our new equipment's coming in over the next couple of days. So wish us luck and wish us we hope that nothing goes bad. So that was going to be the end of my speech, but Officer Miller has arrived. Yeah. So I know that was your first preference, was Officer Miller. Yeah. So we brought him down because he's cute. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. He doesn't know it yet, but we're gonna make him get rid of the tattoos. But Yeah. This is Officer Miller. He's one of our newest officers and one of our finest officers. And, of course, I say that to all the officers. But more importantly, he is the winner of the first annual Pout Pond Cardboard Boat Race. So, Officer Miller, you want to step over and tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I think he's got a degree from Harvard and another one from Princeton, but you can tell them.
No, I'll leave my education out of that. That's for sure. Hi, I'm Jesse, Officer Miller. I started in 2018 as a part-timer and a dispatcher, and I came on full-time in 2020, so not that long ago. But yeah, awesome boat racer. Pout Pond. I hear the fire department is putting on a what's that called? Their car race. It's not a Pinewood Derby.
I thought it was a Pine Derby.
Pinewood is like the little, like the Boy Scout cars.
Right.
But this is like the full size.
Oh, I didn't know. Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a Pinewood Derby, but it is a what? No, not go-karts. It's
You get in it and it goes downhill, but it's
soapbox. Yes, they are putting on a soapbox derby. So we'll see if I can. Derby was in my head. I had that. So we'll see if I could put something together for that. Maybe we'll work on that.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, but otherwise,
What are we using? What hill?
I have no idea. I don't know where it's going or anything like that.
Yeah. That's a nice one. Yeah.
But it's put on by the fire department, so that should be fun.
what other specialties do you have?
So I'm a firearms instructor for the department, so I teach all the other members of the department annual qualifications, other different skills, different firearms drills and stuff like that. Next week I start motorcycle school, so hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll come back on the motorcycle. Hopefully. Hey, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but hopefully. I'm also a firearms armorer, so taking care of the weapons and stuff like that, making sure everything's clean, well-oiled, and put together correctly and functioning right. And that's where I'm at in my career now. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Sure. All this? So these are an outer carrier. So all of this stuff that's on my stomach here is the same stuff that would be used on a duty belt. The difference is it's raised up off your waist and off your hips onto your vest. So the weight is distributed as opposed to like a diver's belt or something, constantly pressing on your hips, your lower back, sitting in a car all day, getting in and out of the car. It's about 20 pounds of equipment or so, all on your hips. So to move it up onto a vest is much more ergonomic, helps with posture. It's like wearing a backpack instead of wearing something constantly pressing. Yeah, so lots of health issues are dispersed.
Tell them what you have on your vest. So
Yeah, so the actual equipment here, so the radio, so I could talk to everybody and everyone talks to me, of course. I have a baton tucked away in here. I don't want to make noise with the mic. Right. So the baton here is for different techniques. It could be used to control people, to combat with people. It could also be used to fish out your car keys when you drop them under the cruiser. Stuff like that. It does not break windows. Everyone thinks it would, but you can go on YouTube and all day it won't. So that's the baton. Extra magazines here for the firearm, extra bullets and stuff like that. A little flashlight. I'm not going to blind you guys, but a little flashlight for nighttime. This is our taser. So again, it's a control as well. Could be used to subdue people. It's a intermuscular lockup. I'm not a trainer in this, so I'm not going to speak too much.
Are you going to volunteer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, does everybody know what a taser is? I mean, you see it on TV so often. Okay.
No demonstrations.
Hold out your hand. Go ahead and demonstrate.
This is probably the worst thing I've ever experienced, hands down. I would never do this again.
I'm not going to volunteer to do it.
Ever. Never, ever.
Yeah, so I can tell you.
5 seconds.
I can tell you what it feels like. If you ever grew up on a farm or anything and touched an electric fence, or put your finger too close to an outlet or stuck a fork, that's what it feels like for 5 seconds.
And that's a long, 5 seconds is a long time.
1,000, so you're feeling like you're being electrocuted for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it totally locks you up and drops. It's up next is pepper spray. This also is it gets into people's heads, right? No matter what they're doing, if they're fighting you, if they're like I'm not moving and they're holding on to something, if you hit them with pepper spray, it irritates you. It really irritates you. I will take this all day instead of getting tased. It fades after about half an hour or so, but just that blast. It burns, startles, and immediately you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then no matter what you're doing, you let go or you stop fighting or what have you because you're distracted. Something took you by surprise essentially. So pepper spray. Sets of handcuffs. Everyone knows what handcuffs are. They come on, they go off, whether you're under arrest or not. That's what handcuffs are. Have my flashlight over here, another one. This is so I can hold it and stuff. This front one is if I'm searching somebody and I can't hold this because I'm using my hands. And then on this side over here I have a tourniquet, so that stops bleeding and stuff like that. This gets used for myself or others or whoever really needs it.
So the reason that all this stuff is up on the vest now is because we had officers who were getting bad backs, and what was happening is they were getting pinched nerves and bad backs and all kinds of things, and research tells us that the reason is because they're carrying 20-25 pounds on their hips, and so they recommend getting it off the hips into what they call a load carrying vest. So the vest is designed to hold all this other equipment so they don't have to have it all on their hips. That's the reason behind it, and we give the officers the option of which way to carry it. So some of those officers who have a bad back or who don't want to have a bad back sometimes carry it off the belt.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Why is pepper spray?
Correct. Yeah, you could have it.
No, you can have it.
Yep. Yes. Yep. You can have it. So you used to need not an LTC, but you used to need your like an FID card for pepper spray, but not anymore. Tasers also used to be illegal completely, but now you can get tasers en masse, but you do have to have an FID for that. But pepper spray you could just buy exactly on Amazon or Walmart sells it, I think. Yeah. Sure. Yep. It is. Yep. So the same vest that's worn underneath a shirt, if this were all on a belt, we'd just have a uniform shirt. So that same vest is just inside of here. So if I were to unzip this, it's the same ballistic vest.
So that's where the ballistic material is, inside that vest that he just showed you.
Hold that so I can put it back up.
And you can just unzip it and take the whole thing off at once. We have a question. Go ahead. Yes, the police department carries AEDs in the cars, and we're about to get them all replaced. So we just put in for a grant. What we want to do is make our they're basically defibrillators, if I said that right. And what they are is we want to match up the ones that we carry with the ones that the fire department carries. So it's easier for the fire department when they get there to just connect to ours rather than having to switch them out. So we're going to be switching all of the police department's AEDs over to the same one that the fire department has. But yes, we carry one in each cruiser. Other questions? Yes, sir. They do not. It's an option, but it's a very expensive option. Let me give you an idea of what we're talking about when I say it's expensive. For a panel for the front for the police officer and a panel for the back, it's $800 to $1,000. So picture how much it would be to line your doors of your car. So, yeah, and all that will stop as a pistol round. It won't stop a rifle round. So before we send Officer Miller back out into the wilderness here, does anybody else have any questions for him? All right. No, we don't use camcorders at all. But it may become law at some point in the future. You know, there's a double-edged sword with video, because remember, we're videoing you too. So every time we go into your house, every time, you know, we're providing medical care, every time we're responding to a motor vehicle accident, you're going to be on camera too. But it may be that the legislation decides that issue for us at some point in the future. Yes, sir.
Chief, just one point. He's in service to us in our town, like you are.
Right.
So what I'll say to the people, even though he's just a policeman, he's the everyday guy walking around and everything, he's still in service to us. If you see him, don't hesitate to reach out and say thank you for your service. Because he's serving you, you are serving us, and we are indebted to you.
Well, we thank you very much for that. I mean, that's not the sentiment everywhere in the country, but yeah, we certainly feel like we owe a debt to this community here, and our job is to service. Whether that means you need a help with a flat tire, or something else, we're there for you. Yes, ma'am.
You see a lot of things on the news TV about people actually being watching events happening that police officers are dealing with. How do you feel about bystanders just standing there and videotaping?
Yeah, it's what you see. So we've had to come to a new reality that every time a police officer does anything, they're on video from like 4 different people, yeah, it's terrible for us to constantly have a camera pointed at you. And if you don't believe me, picture what it would be like for you. Picture if I walked around you all day long, shining a video at you all day. But you know, we all agree that we'd like to stop any police misconduct. We certainly want to stop that. But having somebody point a camera at you so picture this. I see somebody speeding down the road, and I pull them over. And as soon as I walk up to the window, they don't have their license and registration. They have their camera pointing at me, and prove that I was. And we're not going to get into that in the street corner, but that's the kind of thing that we're getting right now. But it's better here than it is in other places in the country. But there are places in the country where the police are not welcome, and so part of our goal here is to be in service to the community. So that's our motto: in service to the community, Thank you, bud. All right, folks. Thank you all very much for having us. We'll see you next time.